Deepika, we can start.
Yes, sir. A very good afternoon to everyone. I'll just give a brief introduction about our institution. UGI was established in the year 2017 with a goal to foster creative change mindset among young minds and transform them into excellent thought leaders in various public services. To achieve this dedicated vision, UGI has a unique blend of academics and civil services, the mentorship programs. We aim to provide experiential learning activities to give an opportunity to observe, identify, and volunteer in designing creative solutions for complex business, economic, society, and environmental framework. Today, we have with us respected speaker, Shri Krunal Ramesh Kalbinde, Honorable Chairman of Universal Group of Institutions, Mr. R. Upendra Shetty, Principal, Mr. Vishwas Puttaswamy, Administrator, Mr. Santosh Shetty, and the entire teaching fraternity. I'm honored to take this opportunity on behalf of Universal Group of Institutions to welcome you all to this faculty development program. Today we have gathered to discuss about a very important topic, that is blockchain technology analysis and impact. Blockchain technology is one of the fastest growing technologies, and it is remarkably transforming the world of business, finance, and banking. The scope and its applications are profoundly vast, and with the government of India opting to use this technology in sectors impacting the digital economy, it is all the more necessary to learn this evolving technology. Mr. Krunal has a proven performance in leading and managing many profitable technology ventures, taking them from startup to its development. Krunal has offered professional consulting services in IoT, Industry 4.0, geophysical services, AI technology, project management, strategic planning, effective teamwork, web application development, and relational database application development to startups and large enterprises. Throughout his professional career, Krunal has managed technology development projects based on the practices of repeatable processes, success metrics, consensus, collaborative process management, and high performance teamwork with the goal of superior accountability to requirements, schedule, and budget. Mr. Krunal has also served as a technical consultant in Ordnance Factory, RSN Mines and Minerals, Master Geotech, NMC, Cybercell, and 100+ industries. He is an expert in cost reduction, AI intelligence building, and quality supply chain management. He usually takes corporate seminars and lectures on emerging technologies, which are linked with deep learning, computer vision, data science. Along with this, he has given lectures and seminars all around the globe. So we are honored to have you here as a speaker today. The last 10 minutes of the program will be open for receiving reviews on Google, and also it will be open for the questions. The speaker will be taking the questions, and you can drop in your questions during the session as well on the chat box. However, it will be answered at the end of the session. We hope that this webinar will be successful and the next few hours will be fruitful for all of us. Thank you. I now hand over to Mr. Krunal.
Thank you, Deepali. Thank you so much. And thanks to Universal Group of Institutions for having me. So I would not waste a single second and let us start. So what I'll be doing is that I will be actually going through the basics of blockchain. I will be also studying, letting you know about the financial institutions perspective linked to blockchain. Then we will go to some, application perspectives of blockchain. I will also share a very important thing is that, the coding perspective of blockchain, like what are the environments through which people are building this blockchain technology. I'll be also going to the government policy which has been launched for blockchain, okay, and that how that policy will support us, okay. So these are the overall perspective I'll be covering. So without wasting, we'll start it, okay. Yeah. Okay. So first of all, directly code came, but it's okay. Yeah. So as introduced, let us start with what exactly is blockchain technology basically, and how this blockchain technology is actually, technically what exactly it is. It is basically what you can say, there is no sole owner of this technology. Okay. There is no central database where this technology is linked to. Second important thing is that it doesn't have any dimension. It can expand as the chain of data has been incorporated with it. Last but not the thing is that it is validated and verified at every chain. So once you incorporate a single data set, okay, so it's like, suppose for example, you build a chain of data, and suppose for example, you want to add an additional data here on this chain. Okay, so this data will be acknowledged by each and every block which has been associated in the past. Getting my point? So once a new block comes here with a particular amount of data, now again all the blocks gets verified automatically, and those all blocks verify this block. So basically I'll give you all the substantial example, but as of now, you need to understand only, okay, okay, the information is transparent basically. Okay, so whenever information has been added, that information basically is validated, and this has been available throughout the chain. So what exactly is blockchain basically? Okay, okay. The information perspective, when we talk about of blockchain, just a minute, let me just. Okay, yeah, now I'm able to. So the information is transparent to everyone, so everyone can verify and validate it. Example, take an example. Suppose for example, you have an oil rig. Okay, so oil rig is extracting the oil. Okay, then it goes, then this oil is transported through some system. Okay, and then ultimately through pipes line. Okay, and it goes to refinery center. Once it has been refined, okay, then it goes to the transportation, and again it reaches up to the petrol pump. Okay, just imagine. Okay, for speaking it is very simple, but the process is extremely complex. Okay, at every stages, there is, maybe there might be loss of oil, or there might be loss in maybe quantity of the oil or the quality of the oil. Okay, or you can define for gas also, or you can define this system for anything which is taking a birth and then coming to the consumer or coming to the business. Okay, at every perspectives, that there needs to be transparency. Because of not having transparency, you need to automate the system, you need to build the system, and ultimately you need to assemble in such a way that it has been actually publicly available. So for doing those things, blockchain plays a very, very important role. You can see the setup information is added. Suppose you want to add a new information, you can add here very easily. It gets automatically validated and verified. Basics of blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, if we talk about. So blockchain is a decentralized ledgers of all transactions across a peer-to-peer network. So when we talk about peer-to-peer network, this system does not need to be internally or externally connected. It can be linked to every system together. Using this technology, participants or user can actually confirm their transaction without a need of central clearing authority. That is the most important thing. Potential application can include fund transfer, settling of trades, voting, and any other issues actually. But today, we have projects where we are applying blockchain technology in healthcare industries, in supply chain management, even in high-end security management also. So they do not trust each other, but they need to cooperate basically. These are the things, basically. A decentralized immutable append only public ledger. Okay, so when we talk about understanding basics of blockchains and all that, let us understand further like exactly what is centralized and what is decentralized. Okay, so banking systems or any database perspectives, when we talk about if you develop any applications, okay, in that we actually talk about centralized systems. So what happens mostly is that, suppose for example I have a user. Okay, suppose I have a Zomato applications, for example, or any application. Suppose for example universal group of institution built for handling their students basically, okay, or handling their faculties. Okay, so there what will happen is that every users will be connected to some centralized system. Okay, so this is basically conventional mechanisms. Okay, similarly if you have the transaction, if you do the UPI payment, or if you if you actually transfer some stock options, okay, or if you buy any shares. Okay, so this all the things are basically and been handled using centralized systems. Okay, when we talk about decentralizations, what happens mostly is that there is not a central agency which actually controls the whole links. Okay, so here the controlling agency is basically a centralized one. Okay, but here there is no controlling agency, it is decentralized. Okay, it means that your data need not need to connect with the central systems. Okay, they are independently connected with each other. Okay, when we talk about financial and blockchain system, so this is basically a differentiation when which we can define. Basically financial system is basically what you can characterize as a central bank systems, where you have control over commercial banks, and obviously they operate in centralized system. Blockchain system, whereas doesn't have the controlling authority. Okay, in centralized nature of banking system and the fact that it relies on databases, okay, basically have weaknesses. Okay, it is weaknesses, it is susceptible to hacking, and obviously it is not so secure. That's the reason we for banking we do vulnerability and penetration testing. There is bank audit, there is network audit. These are the things which needs to be done as per the RBI guidelines. Okay, but for blockchain it did not need to be there. Okay, so that is basically the difference. If suppose for example we incorporate blockchain technology, there will be huge reductions of the cost, okay, which bank applies, okay, by which it spends money on doing these things. Okay, here in blockchain you did not need to do the such things. Another thing is challenges. Okay, so guys, obviously there has been extreme challenges. Okay, from if you talk about the old perspective till current perspective, also commodity and money have been switching overall from last so many years. Okay, if you go back to Mughal Empire and beyond that as well. So if you talk about specifically to cryptocurrencies, okay, so cryptocurrency basically it's basically crypto means dictionary meaning of crypto is basically declared, and cryptocurrency uses lot of systems. Okay, so first transaction tokens was incepted in 2009. Okay, and as of today the crypto word is basically a buzzword. Okay, like there are for good reasons also and for the bad reasons as well. Okay, why the bad? Because I'll give you one small example. Okay, like whatever I face, I usually tell people or my client faces. For example, suppose for example ransomware is a global attack, okay, which has been carried out in industry, small scale industry as well as large scale industry. So suppose for example ransomware is that kind of attack where files in your laptop will be decrypted. Okay, so it need it will be encrypted basically. Okay, and if you want to decrypt those files, okay, you need an decryption key. Okay, I will explain you very easily that how these things can be done, how these things can be easily defined, and how these things can be actually properly set up in a very perfect way. Okay, so let me just before I start about discussing what is public key, private key, let me just give you a very small example live itself. Okay, just give me let me just give you example of live system. Okay, so first thing is that, okay, so basically first thing we need to understand is how you can create a what you say a hash function. Okay, we need to understand whenever any data we actually incorporate in blockchain, okay, it needs to be encrypted. And once you do the encryption, there are algorithms for encrypting. Okay, got the point everyone? Okay, so this is that algorithm I'm talking about. Okay, so we have different types of algorithms, okay, which encrypt those values. Okay, so suppose for example I calculate the hash value for this. So using MD5, this is the hash value. During SHA, this is the hash value. SHA 256, this is the value. SHA 512, this is the value. Okay, so what is it is, if you write anything here, okay, I'm writing here universal group of institution, and I calculate the hash value. These are the hash values which are generated. It means it is an encrypted values for that particular set of words or particular set of numbers. It can be anything. Getting my point? So this we need to understand in a very important way. Now let us come to next step. Okay, now let us understand what is public key and what is private key. Now, suppose, for example, if you go to any website, okay, any website, suppose I go to this website, okay, blockchain.com. At every website which is secured, you can see here, there is connection is secure. If you click here, and you can validate the certificate. If you click on this certificate, you will see the details, and you can see here what type of algorithm has been used to actually secure this website. So you can see here SHA-256 is used. So that type of algorithm is used. That is what, I mean to tell you. Okay. Okay, now let us move one step further. Okay, now I have told you about what are the hash functions and what are different types of algorithm. Now how this system works. Okay, so let me just tell you one thing. I generate my RSA key pair here. Okay, RSA key pair here means whatever hash function I have, RSA. Okay, this hash functions I am actually generating using some algorithm. Okay, now every algorithm will have its public key and its private key. You can see here now. Suppose I type here universal group of institution. Okay, so what I will do, I will copy this public key. Okay, just understand the concept. Okay? If you understand this basic logic, you will understand how the blockchain technology works. Okay, now suppose, for example, I have this encryption with me, and I have my public key and I have my private key with me. Okay, now suppose, for example, I wanted to encrypt this word universal group of institution, for example. Okay, what I can do, I will use my public key. Okay, I will type here public key. I will select the cipher type. Okay, and I will encrypt it. Okay, once I encrypt it, guys, I will get this encryption output. Copy this encryption output, and suppose now I want to decrypt this thing. What I do is that I paste this letter here. I will use my private key now. I will use my private key now, and I will put it here. Finally, I will select the same paddling arrangement and I will decrypt it. Okay, once I decrypt it, I will have this universal group of institution value generated with me. So this is how the whole information travels. Okay, so if any data I put forward, it will get connected with a public key. Once it get connected with a public key, it will have a decrypted output in front of encrypted output in front of it. Okay, so you have public key, you incorporate that data with public key, you will get an encrypted output. Now this encrypted output travels, okay, to a user where he needs to see an information. Getting my point? So public key is only known to you. Okay, now what you do is that you give this encryption system to another person and give him the private key. Getting my point? Once you give him the private key, that person can actually see your information. This is how the blockchain works. Okay, now this information I have sent you, it can be any information. It can be transaction, it can be data from any sensors, or it can be any financial data you can talk about, any stock data you can talk about, any healthcare data you talk about. It the technology and the basics of technology remains same. Okay, fine. If we have, if you got an understanding how this hash function and encryption, decryption, and public and private key works. Okay, now let us move forward and let us understand what are different types of challenges. Okay, what we face. Now we understood. Okay, look. Now few cryptocurrencies, are like have been actually attracting a lot of investor, and few cryptocurrencies are not attracting investors basically. Okay, as majority of these currencies are still in intangible forms. Okay, and remains out of control of the government. Okay, and there is a policy which has been drafted by government. I'll be showing you that policy also in December 2021 only. I have its soft copy. We'll be discussing that as well, so that our concept with regards to Indian Indian government perspectives or Indian regulation perspective, we understand those things as well. Okay, as of today, Bitcoin is largely acceptable cryptocurrency. Challenges. Okay, so as of today, we have more than 1600 plus cryptos, and in 2009 we have Bitcoin, then Litecoin came into picture, and all are utilized as of today. Okay, there are other virtual currencies also, and money is expected to perform central role like medium to exchange, basically store of values, for example, in a unit of currency for any economy. Okay, so mostly when we talk about challenges, it's acceptance of cryptocurrency. So function wise, medium of exchange, storing of value, and unit of currencies. Okay, for money, obviously we know, okay, that provides medium of exchange for buyer and sellers, for cryptocurrency, it has limited acceptance systems as of today. Okay, when you talk about storing of value, store and transfer value over time period. Okay, and in blockchain or in cryptocurrency, we talk about values depending upon the market, and is only valuable when converted into local currency. Otherwise, it doesn't have any value. Last but not the least, unit of currency. Okay, as you know that every government, every country has their own unit basically, and it has a standardization, and it has every currency is dependable. Okay, in cryptocurrency, due to its volatility and unpredictable price, it fails to act as a unit of currency. That is very important for us to understand. Obviously, when talk about regulatory challenges and acceptance issues, these are obviously people are mining it. There are automated trading, what you can build, volatility in predictions, very challenging. In fact, AI and machine learning also fails to actually, predict what would be the price, what would be the fluctuations in cryptocurrency. At least AI, ML, deep learning, data analytics can actually at least predict the stock, the stock market, or the at least, the performance of any stock in a period of a year. Okay, depending upon some of the what you can say, some of the parameters what we can design, like if suppose profit falls below this expectation, what would be the change in share prices. These are mathematical stuff which can be calculated at certain probabilistic model. Okay, but for cryptocurrency it's very challenging. Okay, then we have basically price predictions is challenging again. Security, obviously acceptance issues is fine, but yeah, at certain stages we need to actually create what you say an infrastructure. Okay, infrastructure of blockchains are also challenging basically. Okay, fraud detections, anonymity and privacy, obviously these are different types of concepts. Maybe every tagline might have the benefit also, but yes, again it is a challenge only. Okay, it is not a drawback I'm talking about, it is a challenge. Okay, impact on the economy and industries on blockchain. Okay, suppose for example, if we take a PwC report which they have published, the $1 trillion reasons to rethink blockchain, accessing how the technology is being currently used is very important for us to understand. Okay, every government has their own policy. Okay, we also have our own policy. Okay, I would show you that policy. Well, Indian government also has their own policy, which we call as national strategy on blockchain. Okay, it was basically December 2021. They have launched Ministry of Electronic and Information Technology. They have launched this draft. Okay, and I would share this with you guys, obviously. But my aim to tell you this is that okay, every country has such drafts. Okay, they have discussed about their vision, mission, objective, scope, and technological aspects as well. They have discussed about what is the technological overview and how e-governance domain can bring values to that. Even they have also talked about prototypes, pilots where they have carried out. Okay, and how platform development can be carried out. Okay, they have also discussed about different types of national efforts taken by a lot of organizations and how they are actually trying to incorporate things. Okay, even they have given some suggestions and public consultations also to industry, to technologies like us for doing research and development, to those people who does security and privacy services. Okay, government, legal and regulatory, financial inclusions, educations, and academicians as well. So these are different types of suggestions also they have talked forward. Okay, so we will be discussing about these things in a great details once I finish my presentation perspective as well. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a glimpse, like this is how the our government document looks like. Okay, national strategies, what they have built for blockchain basically. So when we talk about impact, okay, so impact is already there. Okay, it is there across healthcare, it is there across government, public services, manufacturing sectors, financial sector, logistics sector, retailer sector. Every places there has been an impact already. Okay, so when we talk about specific impact, so obviously blockchain technology is associated with cryptocurrency, and obviously it has its public and private organizations also, where you can share different types of data sets. Another one impact is obviously because of COVID-19. It's a kind request to all the participants to mute themselves. Our host can do it for us. Okay, so obviously COVID-19 has also impacted, the disruptive change in blockchain. Then, obviously the analysis shows that, blockchain is not just, uh, future, but it will literally, reconfigure and rebuild lot of operations in futures, okay, for transparency and efficiency of any organizations or any society or any processes, what we'll be doing in future, okay. Moreover, blockchain as a service. Okay, so when we specifically talk about blockchain as a services, it is a third-party creation systems, okay, which is integrated with basically cloud services. Okay, so you need to understand this blockchain requires some platform to actually power itself. Okay, and you cannot just run your system. I mean, run in your laptop or run in your simple. Obviously, you can run in your laptop, but obviously you need something to control that whole chain what you are developing. Okay, for yourself or for suppose for mining or for any application what you're doing in your organization, it can be anything. Okay, or for research and development perspectives also. These third party services are basically coming right now and they're growing daily, day by day. Okay, we are one of the people which are actually building blockchain as a services platforms also to particular organization. If you take about key takeaways, it's a cloud-based infrastructure management, okay, where you can build your own blocks for any type of company. Then it has a web hosting systems, it has a back-end running end systems where blockchain application performs by itself by for a particular types of services. Okay, and obviously it can be a catalyst to for widespread adoptions of blockchain technology. If we try to understand this technology, what it does is that it allows customer to leverage cloud-based solution to build anything or to host their product or to operate your own blockchain related services. Getting my point? On the blockchain. Okay, so this is what the beneficial systems about this. So, if you talk about blockchain as a services, it is actually boosting adoptions of blockchain technology in businesses. As simple as that. So major player are a lot of them, guys. There are a lot of players into this. I would not talk about any players, but you need to understand that if you specifically talk about any player, the technical complexity and the operational overhead, whatever is been involved, or the configuration knowledge it requires, or configuration complexity it has, or operating of blockchain, or maintaining of that infrastructure, guys, is extremely challenging. It is not that easy. Okay, if you really, if I give you the example, okay, suppose for example, if you are mining cryptocurrency, as of today, the cryptocurrency values has came down. So, but I would tell you as of today, it is tough and tough. Okay, you're not able to get any profits because whatever mining if you are doing of cryptocurrency, how whatever is your mining cost, okay, like using of energy, using of processors, or using of cloud services also, you are not able to make that much money. Okay, obviously we need to have then large server, then obviously you can make some money, but this is obviously a challenge in blockchain. Okay, still that's the reason, guys, it has not been penetrated to each and every prospector as of today. When we talk about IoT in 2000, okay, the IoT was the boom. Okay, but people started applying in 2000 after 2010. Getting my point? So obviously we are at such a phase now, we have some problem as of today. Okay, we need to sort that problem as of today. Okay, so there is still 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 dependability. Okay, so when we talk about such bandwidth management or suitable allocations of the resources or hosting requirement or data security features, these are very challenging, and obviously we need some different types of what you can say contributions. Like obviously the blockchain is open source community. Okay, so you will always have an help and you will always have an infrastructure to actually build such things. And let us come down to federated blockchain. Okay, so when we talk about federated blockchain, it uses hyperledger system. Okay. So what it does is that in contrast to public blockchain, only pre-selected participants are accepted in federated blockchain. This has its own importance and its own utilization. Suppose, for example, if you want to create voting, okay, using blockchain technology, so you cannot use public blockchain. You should use federated blockchain so that okay, this region is been allocated. I mean, this region has 50,000 voters. Okay, and for that region you can link them to federated blockchain. Okay, so you already know that you have a pre-selected participants which should accept it. Okay, getting my point? So it's a consortium blockchain, usually much more prominent than public blockchain, but it is also less decentralized. Okay, which is why individual participants gets more power. Getting my point? So obviously it is some different types of system, like I gave you the example of voting, so you can say, you can understand, like, okay, that federated blockchain can be applied there. It has when you talk about consortium, it includes Hyperledger, Koja, Quorum. So basically when we talk about pre-selected participants, it's allow participant basically to not directly have a not directly have a financial incentives, but whenever necessary it can evaluate those perspectives. Okay, so specifically if we talk about federated blockchain, okay, for worldwide networks or for any number of participants, we need to check their identity. It becomes very easy to do that. Okay. Finally, if we talk about what are the benefits of it, it has speed, it has throughput, it has privacy, and obviously energy related consumptions is obviously high, no doubt about it. Digital asset services by financial institutions. Okay. So this is another perspective. Okay, when we talk about financial services, we have this many types of financial services: depository, lending, domestic payment, then international payment. Obviously, in investment banking, also you have sales, trading, underwriting, structured finance, prime brokerage. Then you have market infrastructures where you have exchanges, stocks, commodities, features and options. We have asset management where you have mutual funds, mandates, alternative wealth management, trust services. You have insurance, okay, where you have life insurance, specialty, accident health, and all that thing. But when you talk about, this is a blockchain for innovations. Okay, when we want to link these financial services, you have business values, ad services. We have overlay services like exchanges, wallets, consumer and merchant services. We have pioneerings like bitcoins, altcoins, and another fabricated blockchain technology which can actually support such type of financial services. It need not need to be that a particular blockchain services will support all of it. It will be never like that. Okay, based on their ground reality and how it functions on the ground. Okay, such way are actually applied by choosing specific finance technology. Getting my point? And obviously, when you talk about blockchain potential application and disruption, it is everywhere, guys. From e-commerce to global payment to peer-to-peer lending, for microfinance, where you could talk about digital currency, smart contracts, where you have digital rights or wages perspective, securities, where if you suppose, for example, equity, debt, crowdfunding, derivatives, all of the places you can use blockchain. Then you have record keeping for maybe voting or intellectual property if we talk about, or suppose, for example, you talk about healthcare records or ownership records. Okay, digital assets can be anything, guys. Okay, it can be image, videos, or design files, documents, PDFs, presentations, or marketing product. It can be anything. Okay, and everything has its own value. Okay, so finding clear-cut answers on definitions and capability of each noise digital asset trickle there it should be, basically, whether you are a college student or wanted, you are a seasonal member of any blockchain environment. More and more questions comes when we talk about digital assets linking to financial institutions. Okay, because at every places there is an independent research what you can do as of today, because there are a lot of loopholes and everything needs to be actually predefined, and obviously you would define once you do the research on that. So who is using the word digital assets? I mean, like, at every places. First of all, guys, it's a confusing aspect when you talk about virtual money. Okay, in a different terms. The bottom, if you talk about, it's a digital assets that relates to the financial industry, is called as digital currency. If you talk about functionalities, okay, functionalities of digital currencies, then obviously, it's linked to some physical currency. However, there are advantages to utilizing digital over physical currency. It's obviously there. Okay, so when we talk about revolutionary features of Bitcoin for specific cryptocurrency, it has literally reduced the time, cost of the payment, transaction. Literally, that is a very good thing about Bitcoin, guys. The processing charge is extremely low as compared to our current banking systems. About the sentiments, I would tell you guys the market capital is every day increasing. Okay, obviously due to the fluctuation of cryptocurrency, the digital assets also fluctuate. Okay, but yes, I would tell you that a lot of countries are trying to adopt it, and if they're not adopting it fully, they're trying to find out some way or the other way so that their government is actually feel protected about applying those systems, or applying the such digital assets basically. So where digital assets are going as of today, it is going to private as well as public domain, guys, to be frank. Okay, it is going to government also, it is going to the private industry lenders also. That is the true fact. Okay, when we talk about digital assets designs, deliverables technologies that reshapes legacy systems, maybe on workflow managements or efficiency management or interconnected applications also, yes, digital assets are going there. Okay, so how will blockchain impact the financial industry? Okay, so let us if you want, if you really want it, we will be talking much about it. Okay, before I go deeply into that, okay, let me just make you understand exactly what are the government initiatives, what has been actually been defined here. Okay, on this book of national strategies on blockchain basically. Okay, so here we have different types of keywords when we talk about. Okay, so the first keyword when we talk about is obviously, let us go to the government visions, missions, and objectives. Exactly what they have what they have defined. The first vision, what they are stating is that to create trusted digital platform through shared blockchain infrastructure. Now, remember the words. The words are very much important for us to understand when they talk about shared blockchain infrastructure. Shared blockchain infrastructure means that we will have a blockchain infrastructure with us, but it will be shared. Okay, so if any organization in the world is developing any environment in suppose X type of blockchain infrastructure, so he can also connect to our blockchain. So that is the reason shared terminology has been used. Okay, for promoting obviously research and development, that is the first criteria they have put. Second one is bringing innovation. Obviously the third one will be technology and application development, like what type of technology you develop for solving what type of problem statement, and obviously facilitating the state of art, which could be transparent, secure, and trusted digital services delivery to citizens as well as businesses they are talking about. This making India a global leader in blockchain technology. That is the vision they are looking forward with. When we specifically talk about mission, so they have two missions which they have actually defined here, like endeavors to evolve a vigilant and trusted collaborative digital ecosystem to provide consensus based, tamper evident, transparent, and open framework for offering e-governance services to citizens and businesses, involving multiple organizations in participating environment, assuring trust, security, track and trace, integrity, and regulatory compliances. So they are actually, incorporate each and every small perspectives here, in a very simple mission. I mean, obviously, the achieving this mission is very much complex. For those achieving those missions, they have set some objectives. Okay, and those objectives are totally linked with all the regulation, technological applications, and each and everything. Okay, so now let us talk about their objectives. Okay, so they have total 10 main objectives. Okay, and I have not actually taken down this thing and put on the presentation, because I wanted to discuss this whole document separately actually. Okay, so objective when we talk about is basically create a trusted digital platform first of all. By evolving a national blockchain infrastructure, we need to actually evolve our national blockchain infrastructure that can use for development. Matlab people can use for development also, and people can deploy their applications also there. Okay. Second one is faster research and development. So, second objective they have put forward is that, we should be able to do a lot of research and development here, which would be okay, which would be in the field of basically, what you can say, rapid application development and their deployment, or interoperability or scalability or security and privacy. All those things should be considered, and a lot of research and development should be done. The third perspective what they are putting is that creating and updating an innovation roadmap, trusted digital platform addressing various challenges toward blockchain technology adoption. So they need to create a community where you can actually create something. If you create something and suppose somebody is able to find the flaw in what you have created, that somebody can also update that system for you, so that the roadmap is actually digitally trusted to each other. Getting my point? So this is the vision what they wanted to build. In fact, those visions are base of blockchain, how it performs, how it works. Okay. Then the fourth objective what they have put forward is that plan for production grade applications for national interest. There need to be a proper plan, and how we are actually manufacturing and doing production of such great applications. Okay, which would be focused on national interest also, by obviously focusing on faster, secure, transparent, trusted and efficiency delivery of services to citizens and businesses, no doubt about it. Then fifth objective is basically encouraging development of standards in area of blockchain technology. Obviously, at every day, I would tell you, every day I am a research and development person. Okay, so I'll tell you one thing, that if you just go to few websites like arcis.org, okay, or if you are really fan of reading extreme high-end technologies, okay, like there are a lot of websites like sciencedirect.com or arcis.org. Today if you type your blockchain, okay, today if you type your blockchain and for example, if you search it, okay, you will see that every day there are people who are building tremendous and beautiful technologies. Actually, just read, for example, this paper. Okay, this paper has been published. Maybe you will see, just a minute. Okay, I mean to say that you can see here there are a lot, and every day. This on 9th February. Okay, you can see here this was on 10th February. Just 2 days back, this research has been developed. 9th February. This research has been developed on 9th February. This is on 8th February. This is on 8th February, 8th February. You can see every day. I am talking about just this website. There might be other website where person has published that paper somewhere else. Okay, so every day there is technological evolving in blockchain, and there are a lot of challenges what people are facing, and academicians and research and development people all around the world are actually making their research public, so that we can implement those technologies. It can be applied anywhere. Suppose I type here blockchain and finance. Okay, if I click here, you'll get some of the other articles which are linked to those things. Like you can see here, asymmetric criteria for blockchain design, asynchronous composition model. These are all mathematics. Okay, we don't know. I would understand it, but it's not important that everyone needs to understand this thing. Okay, but here they have talked about this process correspond to adding new blocks in blockchain where the delay arises due to network communication. So obviously, I just try to understand very within one line. You would understand, like some people are actually doing research. Suppose, for example, I wanted to add a block somewhere, and if my network communication is low, okay, so obviously it will create some delay, right? So using some mathematical model, or generating some unique infrastructure, we can actually solve that problem, right? So this is what this research is trying to demonstrate it, as simple as that. So here the fifth objective is basically encourage development of standards. Okay, so those development standards can be taken forward from all the research people who are doing all around the world for applications of your way. Obviously, suppose for example somebody tells me, okay, there is application of blockchain where we need to actually incorporate some government services, or suppose for example for the people of what you can say for Adivasis, for example, if you need to incorporate something, and suppose there is a low network communication band. Okay, so we can use this mathematical model or this technology to solve such problem. Getting my point? So this is what I'm talking about. The sixth one is identify the legal and policy requirement towards regulating blockchain for offering services to citizen and businesses. Obviously, guys, regulatory and legal policies needs to be keep at one place, because there, if something wrong happen, obviously there need to be a policy which would actually what you can say would monitor those things, right? Then encourage multi-stakeholders model in evolving national blockchain infrastructure for offering citizen services, thereby assuring transparency, trust, and prevalence. Eighth one is strengthen India's collaboration with global organization and innovation and research centers working in the area of blockchain technology. So obviously they need to actually collaborate, okay, to a lot of big big people who are actually working on extreme blockchain technology. Ninth one is evolving of centralized planning and decentralized execution model for large scale adoption. Okay, and finally promote capacity building, skill development, and innovation in blockchain technology. That is another main objective. So these 10 objectives have been defined by national strategies in blockchain by ministry. Okay, so when we talk about scope, so the scope is very simple. Okay, this document basically, I mean, the scope is defined. The document provides an insight on strategies and recommendation for creating a trusted digital platform using blockchain. Okay, facilitate trusted service delivery, citizens and business, and also make India a global leader and all those things. Okay, then technological aspects, if we talk about, so evolving a national blockchain infrastructure, they are talking about. Then how you can build different types of stakeholders into scalability and security resilient. Now I will summarize things for you, okay, because it's a very big document. So I will just read things and I would summarize all the content for you. Okay, then the third one is actually applying basically integrating different type of cross platforms on blockchain. Fourth one is obviously building a capacity of blockchain leaders, which would understand the skill required to build those technologies, including all students, management executives, policies, and decision maker. They also need to understand the technology. Okay, a policy maker cannot make the policy on blockchain without understanding the technology. I mean, this is very important. Then fifth one is contribute towards creation of intellectual property. Okay, yes, that is very important. As a if you wanted to bring India to a global user of blockchain applications, okay, we need to create a lot of intellectual properties. Okay, so our intellectual properties can be used, okay, by other countries. Okay, so that we create values out of that. Okay, the sixth one basically is cross-border solutions also can be developed using this technology. Contributions for national and global level standards also. Administrative experts, if we talk about, okay, to carry out detailed study and identify legal and policy requirement, that is the most important administrative work which need to be carried out. Okay, that is one thing. We can work on this thing at a very greater depth actually. Finally, evolve multi-stakeholder model towards creating national blockchain infrastructure. That is an administrative aspect which has been kept forward. Introduction, we have already told you, I have already told you about this introduction. Okay, here we need to understand these models have application in various domains such as education, governance, finance and banking, healthcare, logistics, cybersecurity, media, legal, power sector, etc. thing. I mean, there is none sector where you cannot apply this blockchain. Okay, proof of concept and pilot deployments have been successfully carried out, guys, already, not just in India, all around the world. Okay, so there need not need to be a proof of concept. So what is exactly proof of concept to those people? Proof of concept basically means, like, suppose for example you are actually trying to apply any technology, okay, and you have built that technology to solve any problem statement. So wherever you want to apply that problem statement or you want to solve that problem statement, you deploy that model in that environment to solve that problem statement, and you actually get the results out of it. Okay, so if you are getting the result, it means that you have applied your proof of concept in that environment. Getting my point? So when we talk about technological overview, I already told you about the technological overview also. Okay. So there are different types of block. Every block has this values. Okay. So if you need to understand how this blockchain works, okay. So there is an environment or there's a coding infrastructure through which, you can build your blockchain. Okay. So here is that systems. Okay. So I have built one very simple system for you guys. Okay. It's an extremely simple system. So this is the thing, guys. Okay, so what I have done is that this is remixethereum.org. So using Solidity is an coding environment for actually you can build some smart contract or blockchain related applications using Solidity. Okay, so I've created one very simple thing. So here in contracts, I have created one system of universal group of institutions. So .sol is an extension through which you can actually save things. So I created a contract name universal group. Okay, and I am inputting some values. Okay, I am inputting a number. So uint is an input value function. Okay, just understand those things. You do not need to focus on the coding perspective. I wanted to make you understand how this coding environment also work. Okay, I already told you some basic hash functions and algorithm and how public key and private key can be utilized live. Okay, same logic has been applied in blockchain when you build any applications also. Getting my point? So specifically, if we talk about, I have built one contract where I have an input as a number, and and the hash value is generated or for that number, and it has been deployed into a particular blockchain. Getting my point? Now, once I do this thing, I would compile this thing. Before I compile this thing, whichever the what you can say, the compiler. I mean, whichever version I'm using, the same compiler I need to select. So you need to understand that there are a lot of compilers. So I've used 0.8.9. So I would select 0.8.9. Okay, I have selected the language from where I build the system. Okay, and I will compile a default, and I will compile this system. When I compile this, okay, once I compile this thing, okay, so the compiling is done. Okay, and I will publish this thing to IPFS if I wanted to. There's some metadata basically when we talk about. Okay, once I do this thing, what I can do is that I can go here, and you can see here my contract is created. Okay, and I have different types of environment where I can actually account those things. So there are different types of parameter, guys, like gas limits and all that thing. This is basically terminologies when you're going deeper into, if suppose for example you want to mine any cryptocurrencies, or you wanted to actually build your own application in cryptocurrency. As such cases, you need to actually understand those things. Now, suppose for example, I deploy this contract. Once I deploy this contract, you can see here I have got this systems basically. Okay, if I just showcase you this thing, so you can see here I have this status that true transaction mine and execution was succeeded. Just transaction hash, for every transaction values I will generate this hash value, and from where I have generated, this is my ID. Okay, who is the constructor? Universal group is the constructor. How much gas, like how much energy, if if I kept the terms general, how much it was used, transaction cost was how much, execution cost was how much, hash of that system was what was the input. Okay, these are different types of things which will be there. Now suppose for example I put the address here, suppose 20, and I no, not here. Suppose I write the value here now 22. Okay, and I write it. You can see here this has been this values is been incorporated. Okay, I mean those values now are part of any blockchain I'm talking about. Getting my point? So now I'm putting the values, and for every values you can see the decode input is this, but you have already deployed that model. Okay, getting my point? You have already deployed that model in a very simple way. Okay, and obviously you can read those system very easily, and for those reading also you will have its own hash values to read that system. Getting my point? So this is how the blockchain works. It's a very simple application. I would not go much deeper into that, but I just wanted to make you understand. Okay, like I cannot cover everything in this 1.5 hour, but I'm trying my best that you understand the coding environment also. Okay, because if suppose for example you want to make any policy. or you wanted to do any regulations, or you want to apply this technology on blockchain, on cyber security domain, or you wanted to build the technology for healthcare industry. It can be anywhere. It can be with regards to law also, it can be regards to regulations and acts, and you can link blockchain technology to different types of Indian panel code as well, or the constitution's amendments also. It's all your study what you do. Okay, but I would advise that, if you are building such policies, or if you wanted to have your interest in development of technology also, you should at least understand how the coding environment works. Okay, how different types of applications are built, and how those applications are deployed on blockchain, and if they are deployed, technically how they work. Okay, what type of data they generate, and if they are generating the data, where that data goes, and if it is going somewhere, how you can access those data. These are the things which we need to understand in a very greater depth. Okay, so for example, one question was there, where how could okay, there was one question I have got: how to identify the person who is having how much amount of digital assets. Obviously we cannot identify any person. That is the best thing about cryptocurrency. But okay, you can get a lot of things, like this is the example. This is a website called as blockchain.com. okay, here what you can see is that you can understand, like suppose for example I type here, this is the block number, like 4900624. Suppose for example I do it here, to 9. If I do enter, okay, these are different types of blocks which have been created. At every block, guys, there is a value which is incorporated with it. Okay, so you'll see that for every prospectus, there are data sets which are generated. Okay, so let us see. Okay, let me you can see now the block for 4900629. This block has this type of hash. It has the confirmation ID. You can see here it was in 2017. Okay, what was had, who was the miner, okay, how many transaction it has carried out, okay, what was the difficulty, I mean what gas rate it has done, how much bits it has incorporated, okay, what was that block transaction, getting my point, what was the hash values of it, okay, it was generated by Coinbase, okay, then what was the return key, what was the fee which was incorporated for with regards to that, what was the transaction for that perspective, what was the hash for that. Yes, everything is public. Okay, but we don't know who owns this block. Getting my point, we don't know who owns this block. Okay, and who was the person who actually have done the transaction. Okay, and if somebody is using Coinbase also for doing that transaction, okay, we would never know that who is this ant pool who has mined this thing. If we click here, we would understand few other perspective, like what is its address, basically. Getting my point, how much money he has received, how much he has total sent. Getting my point, how many transaction he has done, everything is there, guys. But you don't know his identity as usual. Okay, so obviously your data is there, but no one would know you actually, that who exactly you are. Okay, getting my point. No, none of the people in the world can reach you by this data which is publicly available. Okay, so that is the beauty of blockchain. Okay, so if any questions you have, you can just keep on asking that question on the chat bot. Okay, and obviously I will answer at the end, no doubt about it. Okay, so I hope if you have understood, like how this blockchain works. Now again, let us go to our national strategy in blockchain. Okay, so here I have already discussed about the stakeholders, validations in blockchains and all that. Let us talk about importance of blockchain technology. We have already discussed about it, but yes, specifically in talk about yeah, public permissionless and private permissionless. These are two important things which you can define on your blockchain models. Then you have value addition of the technology in e-governance domain. Okay. Here the most important thing what we need to understand is that blockchain can enable the officials to verify the proof of existence of document by comparing the attributes of provided copy of the document against the details of the original version stored in a blockchain. Okay, this is the way you actually can compare things. Okay, while comparing, guys, the most important thing what the beauty of blockchain is that, suppose for example you have, for example, birth certificate. Okay, And if that birth certificate has been incorporated on the blockchain, so it will have its own hash value. Okay. Now, suppose, for example, if the birth certificate is changing, okay, or it's been tampered, for example, okay, it would not, but I'm just giving you an example. Okay. As such case, if any tampering happens, okay, first of all, if it is on the blockchain, it would never get tampered. Okay, but that's the beauty of validating the documents. Okay, and using of blockchain is one of the best solution. Okay, one of the really best solution. Obviously, they have done some SWOT analysis also, like what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses. Okay, I mean, like what are the opportunities, and obviously they have talk about different types of challenges. But I would love to talk about what is basically weaknesses in blockchain. Okay, so that you understand, because opportunities, strength, we already know. Okay, what are the strength of blockchain, which everybody tells. Okay, weaknesses, what as a what you can say as a national strategy. Okay, what are the weaknesses what government is feeling. Okay, so here what they are talking about is that scalability. Okay, the current transaction processing rate of blockchain platform varies from 70 TPS, 7 transaction per second, to 3,500 transaction per second, depending on individual platforms, applicability to particular domain, architecture, census approach, and all that thing, guys. Okay, so basically scalability, it means to say that, suppose, for example, I'm doing some transaction on blockchain. What is my processing rate of doing that thing? Okay, and how much transaction I can do per second. Then there is a security perspective here. When we talk about security perspective, as some literature depict, not all weaknesses apply to all blockchain platform or corresponding application domain. It means to say that all the application which has security flaw need to be integrated with the security feature of the current blockchain technology. Getting my point? So that is where again another challenge comes. Okay. That is what the weaknesses we are talking about. Then obviously interoperability. It means that basically when we specifically talk about requirements of our situations. Okay, like how we can move entities to blockchain, and then for example, what would be the legal support for that. Okay, and which platform to trust upon, where would the storage capacity goes, who will handle the storage capacity. Guys, we don't have as of today. You are understanding, we need to handle lot of amount of data. And suppose, for example, we need to apply those data, we need to have that infrastructure with us. As of today, we don't have the storage capacity also. Getting my point? So those are weaknesses. Getting my point? Data localization. When we talk about General Data Protection Regulation Act, okay, which is a protected law, specifically to European Union, they have talked about. Okay, in the Indian context, the proposed Personal Data Protection Bill would govern the collection, storage, and processing of the personal data, including their transfer outside the country under certain conditions. So yes, for European Union, it is GDPR, and for us, it will be Personal Data Protection Act, but which we call as PPPB, basically. Okay, then obviously disposal of record. Right to be forgotten is one of the requirement in a proposed Personal Data Protection Bill. This is very unique characteristic, guys. I mean, this draft is so beautifully written that apart from just understanding blockchain, it tries to link with the laws and regulations also. Okay, so in this, they have talked about disposal of records. Suppose, for example, I want to kill any record. Okay, the right to be forgotten is one of the requirement which we have proposed in the bill. The Personal Data Protection Bill is there. As the records stored on blockchain are immutable, in order to enforce this requirement, appropriate measures have to be taken while implementing blockchain technology. So that is also the weakness, because we don't have that appropriate measures with us as of today. Opportunities, there are a lot of it, and once the weaknesses is solved, okay, obviously we would solve, I mean, we would attack those opportunities basically. Okay, if we talk about worldwide perspective, by 2025, we talk about blockchain would add a business value that will grow over $176 billion. This would increase further to 3.1 trillion by 2030. Details are given in figure 2.3. So this is basically the calculations they are trying to do. Okay. Then if we talk about, specifically forecast of global market, global blockchain government market by geography. So during 2020 to 2027, if we specifically talk about, okay, so you can see that Asia Pacific nations would actually have a a lot of impact, okay, into the market capitalizations of blockchain. Okay, ultimately, guys, challenges if you talk about. So we have challenges. We have technology adoptions. We have regulatory compliances, which we need time to develop those things. We have identification of suitable use cases. Okay, I mean, we need to understand the proof of concept. Suppose, for example, somebody has applied that technology somewhere, we need to understand what are the challenges, what has been faced, who has applied that technology. If we understand those things, then we can obviously, that is what identification of suitable use cases, we need to do that, and that is a big challenge, because a lot of people around the world are working, a lot of people all around the India is working, a lot of institutes are working, a lot of personal people, personal organization are working, a lot of government organization working, but there is not a single community which works together. So we need to come together and work on it. Okay, that is how the things work. Data format, still a challenge. Awareness and skill sets, extreme big challenge. Okay, technically, making available of skill sets is a big challenge. Okay, and obviously now from last 1 and 2 years, a lot of organizations are launching specific courses on blockchain, specific diploma courses on blockchain, or a PG program on blockchain, or even a graduate program on blockchain. Okay, so that would definitely bring such skill sets of people in near future. So roadmap of blockchain, if for adoptions, they are specifically defined. Here the roadmap is very simple. The past is excess value proposition of blockchain. Present, what we are doing is that pilot deployment of prototypes are going on. Implementation of specific application is going on, guys. For the information, we are trying to identify, evaluate, and evolve prototypes. Okay, so whatever prototypes has been developed, it may face some challenges, right? So those challenges are been actually, what you can say, are been solved. Okay, are been actually modified, or are actually been evolved, so that they can solve a specific type of challenge in a more optimistic way. And obviously, the future will be scaling that deployment. Okay, so today, if you are deploying for suppose 1,000 people or 1,000 businesses, tomorrow we need to scale those systems. Okay, adopt of other domain emerge shared infrastructure and cross domain applications also. So what it tries to say is that shared infrastructure means I have infrastructure in my organization, and suppose I have around suppose 1,000 TV of systems and the cloud computing power. If suppose I have some space which is available. Okay, so what I can do is that I can deploy it for shared infrastructure, so somebody can use it. Okay, because it is freely available for on my side. Okay, getting my point. Cross domain application means suppose I'm building application on Solidity, and somebody needs to actually build application on another environment, like I already told you. Suppose, for example, you compile, you see here you have language like Leal, Solidity, so it should be cross platform. Getting my point? So this is another thing they're talking about. And obviously scaling in deployment. So you need to increase the scalability in deployment. The more and more people should deploy their application into that environment. That is another thing. So obviously blockchain applications too much, guys. You name things, everywhere you have blockchain. Legal, real estate, sharing economy, internet of things, insurance, banking, trade finance, crowdfunding, supply chain, IT storage, cloud storage, healthcare, everywhere it is. Okay, everywhere it has its application. International scenario, if you talk about, so blockchain based service network, what we call as BSN, has been initiated in China, aims at helping companies and individuals to deploy blockchain application faster and cheaper. So they have talked about China and European Union for a reason, guys. Why? Because international scenario we need to understand first. Okay, because there's always things to learn from other countries who have already applied things. Getting my point? So we have China with us, we have European partnerships, we have United Arab Emirates, okay, or we have US, okay, they have all started. Brazilian government, Chile, Canada, all have started in some other way. They have started using this thing. Like Sweden is focusing on conducting real estate deal, and Ghana on land registry and cadastral register based on blockchain to collect property taxes on them. Getting my point? So you can see these are different types of cases which are already people are using, people have deployed it. But when we talk about platform deployment, development. So there are hyperledger platforms, Cosmos, Relevi, all these are different types of platforms, guys. For quick references they have given. Okay. Then national scenario. Now let us come to our scenario, like exactly what, where we are, okay, and what type of things what we have done actually as of today. So national efforts for application deployed and piloted is one where METI has supported a multi-institutional project called as Distributed Center of Excellence in blockchain technology with CDAC. Okay, where they were able to do develop proof of concept solutions for blockchain, where blockchain technology based solution for property registration has been developed and is piloted basically in the state of Telangana. Okay, Shanshabad district in Telangana state. Proof of concept solution have been developed for enabling cloud security assurance, central know your customers, CKYC, okay, and trade finance also. They have actually given the proof of concept. Okay, so obviously guys, these are the things what people are doing now. Nick also has, along with Niski, has established Center of Excellence in blockchain technology. The objective of COE was to accelerate adoption and deployment of blockchain technology in government and execute projects on that in test cases, even in pilot deployment also. Getting my point? Then the application areas identified and developed through COE are blood bank, Digidhan, public distribution system, land registration, GST back office, and excise management systems also. Then you have NECGD has released an approach paper on national strategy for blockchain, which provides details about blockchain applications, domain challenges, and adoption in technology. Here guys, they have discussed about attestations using blockchain, like if you do attestation, so how you can do the attestation using blockchain. So once you deployed that document, attach that document, that becomes that become parts of blockchain basically. Then CDAC has developed a lot of things, guys. I mean, they have deployed for technological inclusion, where national blockchain frameworks they have talked about, e-sign integrations they have talked about, and also deployed. They have deployed academia also. A lot of IITs have worked upon. Okay, even my from where I am graduated, they're also and IIT Kharagpur also. They have also developed a lot of blockchain applications. Plus, to a lot of professors all around IITs, NITs, even from different types of colleges around India, are developing a lot and lot of research works. Okay, where in their I mean, whatever department they have, like Center of Excellence, for example, or entrepreneurship cells, for example. Okay, all of them are started focusing on application of machine learning in blockchain, AI in blockchain, or industry 4.0, application of blockchain industry 4.0, or application of blockchain in IoT, or application of blockchain in cloud infrastructure. All these things, people, academicians are already doing. Niti Aayog collaborated with one of the a company called as Gujarat Narmada Valley Fertilizer and Chemical Limited, which has developed blockchain based system for fertilizer subsidy. Getting my point? So people have applied, guys, and they have given some proof of concept to us. Getting my point? So this proof of concept literally plays a very, very important role, and it brings confidence to us that, okay, look, we can also use that technology. Okay, then government of Telangana and government of Tamil Nadu has developed something and applied. Then banking sector, RBI is exploring on applying blockchain technology in banking domain. Mahindra and IBM are jointly collaborating on supply chain management solution. SBI associated with commercial bank and financial institution for blockchain based application pilot. Yes Bank, Axis Bank, ICICI Bank are also adopting blockchain in their banking business. Okay. IDRBG has released white paper. Okay, this white paper actually talk about intra-bank, interbank, and central bank, and how this all the banks can be incorporated with blockchain platforms using some blueprint perspectives. Okay, for architecture optimization or governance optimization, or technological development perspective also. Okay, so suggestions from public consultations. When we talk about, industry has their own suggestions, guys. Okay, where we need to build some national blockchain framework for industries, startups, and academics, so that they get an what you can say platform to work upon. As of today, they don't have a nationalized blockchain platform. Okay, then we have to encourage public private partnerships also. Okay, where a person who has knowledge can join to any organization where he can give share knowledge, he can develop the partnership. Okay, and then obviously things can be roll out very quickly. Ultimately, guys, technological and research development, extreme challenge. Okay, we need to build I mean, people need to not just understand the law perspective or application perspective. Yeah, people should not say no to any new application, but rather, people should understand first the technology, drawbacks in technology, what implications technology can bring to solve that problem statement, and then obviously step by step we can move forward with regards to that, because it's not easy to accept the change, but the change can actually build out of what you can say, a lot of easy way to control a lot of things, to validate a lot of things, where people are putting a lot of money as of today. Okay, we are investing a lot of things, a lot of money, but some investment can be saved, okay, if we use blockchain technology. Then we have security, privacy. I mean to say that blockchain is literally very secured. Okay, hacking that thing is extremely difficult, to be frank. Okay, then standards. Obviously, Bureau of Indian Standards has also defined some standard bodies where how in various global and regional technical committees such as ISO standard related to blockchain and DLT technologies also they have talked about. Okay, and they are developing some contents and strategy for adoption and implementation plans also. Government, obviously, government should foster and act catalyst for industry, startup, R&D institute, academia, government, every place is that working group, council, project review, everywhere. You should bring interest to the people basically. Legal and regulatory, that is another thing, guys. Like legal challenges in making smart contract admissible in court, relevant stakeholder may be consulted. It's very important, guys. Okay, usually I have worked on a lot of cases, okay, for cyber cell, where the evidence what we put forward should be acceptable in the court as well. Okay, so how we can actually bring on that legal and regulatory policies also, so that the justice court of law should also accept those things. So these are the things we need to focus upon. We need to read those things upon. Then obviously financial inclusions, that is one of the biggest challenge. Okay, education, awareness, and accreditations, these are another things, and other importance, like if we talk about our different types of things where we need to have data centers, and all those things with us. Okay, list of potential applications. Already, guys, perfect applications. They have lot of things like e-rotary, pharmaceutical supply chain, farm insurance, identity management, duty payment, e-voting, agriculture. The extreme application like smart grid applications to government, crypto wallet platform for selling, buying, trading, validations of the bill, digital evidence management systems, blockchain for social good use cases like charity and donation, maturing and settlement. Okay, microfinance, cross-border trade, everywhere. You have these applications from cheat fund operations and administrations also they are put forward it. Strategies and outcome, if we talk about blockchain as a services would be a best solution. Okay, and I would not go much deeper into that, but I wanted to cover one very important perspectives, like um, different types of multi-institution approach, like organizations, CDAC, we have different, these are already defined. Let me just talk about. Okay, yes, so we are done for this. Okay, so overall, guys, this is what I wanted to share with you. Okay, and define things for you, so that you understand we have our own strategy with us. Okay, and for I, I as I read things, and as I have told you, it's a way long. Okay, I mean, like the way is near, but it is long. Okay, so we need to understand that uh, at every stages we have challenges, we have opportunities also, and for clearing that opportunity we need to understand the technologies. There are legal regulation drawbacks also, we need to solve those things as well. Okay, so everywhere people are doing a lot of research, and yes, I am very much sure that this would literally explode at certain amount of time. Okay, so obviously let me just go back to our financial impact. So yes, adding securities, then payment transfer systems, financial technology companies have already actually has deployed a lot of things. And yes, relations of blockchain would make financial institutions relations more stronger.
नहीं मिल रहा है, केवल सर्विस सेंटर पे जो एक कुछ स्टॉक बचा रहता है ना, जैसे रिप्लेस करने के लिए कुछ स्टॉक बचा, नहीं देखा था उसकी बात। हाँ 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 हाँ, तो उनसे इनका काम हो जाएगा।
Okay, so if we talk about institution adoptions to these new technologies, institute will adopt these technologies. Why? Because it has a lower financial cost, and obviously, if suppose for example competitors are charging more, so blockchain would actually solve their problem. So if we specifically talk about blockchain, then I would advise that it is secure, transparent, and nearly impossible to alter data sets. Okay, and it is not a single entity, but it's a control ledger. So obviously everyone is safe, and immutability, money transfer is easily possible, inexpensive, and you can have a direct payment. Not also that, you have reduced frauds into that. Uh, so these are basically, what I need to basically cover. Again, this all the things we have covered. So finally, if benefits of blockchain, if we talk about, it's instant settlement, improve capital optimizations, we have reduced counterpart risk, we have an extreme smart contract with us, we have transparency, and obviously we have terms for increased financial solutions, and error handlings are, reduction in error handlings are 101% there. Okay, how blockchain technology and financial technology fintech have impacted investing and securities? Obviously, because of their lower cost, okay, and expenditure, and expediting the time that regulator or law enforcement authority invest in ensuring legal compliances. With regards to that, it is more optimized. Okay, and obviously, blockchain can improve payment transparency, efficiency, trust, security, as well as reduce the cost for finance services also. Earlier, that the bank takes week, but using blockchain we can have an instant transfer. Okay, so this is what I wanted to cover with you. I have shared almost everything with regards to blockchain, the coding environment perspective to the regulatory perspectives, and I hope if now there are any questions, now I'm open to questions, and you can ask me any questions, whichever is, in whatever way you want to ask me, you can ask me. Okay, so I'm open to questions now. Let me just go to the chat bot and see what type of questions has been, asked. Who writes this proof of work and miners? Okay, and to understand mining in cryptocurrency, okay, if we specifically talk about, is like extracting some blocks. Okay, so if suppose for example you're extracting some blocks, you have been rewarded for that. Okay, so that is what mining means. Getting my point? How to identify the person who having much more of digital assets? Okay, you cannot identify a person. Okay, we can identify who has the highest digital asset, but who is the owner of that asset, we cannot, it cannot be found out. Okay, so that's the benefit of blockchain. At certain stages it is not a benefit also, but yes, you cannot through any way you cannot identify the owner of any cryptocurrency asset. You may know their hash values, that he owns so and so cryptocurrency, but who owns that hash value cannot be known. Okay, another question, sir, will be sharing your PPTs? Obviously, I'll be sharing the PPT with you. I'll be sharing blockchain books with you. There are 2 open source books. So I'll be sharing those books with you. Third important thing, I'll be sharing also this the security. National strategy by government. The PDF what we have discussed, I'll be sharing you that as well. Okay.
Good evening, sir. Hello. Sir.
Very good evening, madam.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in a centralized system, all information, so it means all transaction information are maintained by central server, right, sir?
Yes. Yes.
So here, sir, the central system only having this burden, right, sir?
Right.
But when we are coming to this decentralized peer-to-peer communication system,
yes.
So all transactions informations are stored in each node, right, sir?
Not each node. Individual transactions are stored in each nodes, and they are connected they are connected in a decentralized way. So none of the node is dependable on any other node to be connected.
Yeah, sir. Each and every node contain all information, sir.
Not one node will have one set of information, madam.
Oh, so
Yeah,
is it
you need
worth,
to. Yeah,
sir,
yeah.
is it worth for single benefit security? Because
Obviously, you just understand in a very simple logical way. I am sending data. Now, suppose, for example, take an example. I am sending one data from one place to another place. Okay. When I send this data from one point to another point, okay, it goes to one system and then that system send that data to that another place. Okay, getting my point. So this is what this centralized system. Why? Because somewhere or the other, my data has to reach one place, and from that place will decide where it will go. Okay, so here this whole system is not acknowledged. Okay, getting my point. There is, I mean, the central system needs to first extract the data from you and then transfer that data from that place to that place, the second place. What you're doing, it is not directly going. But in case of decentralized, that doesn't work. Okay, you are directly, suppose it means that आपको एक घर लेना है. If you are buying a house, you are going to not an owner, you are actually going to any third party, then he is doing the transaction for you, and then you are getting an ownership. This is not the way. Here you have direct connection with the owner. Okay, you give him the money, take the house, that's it, finish. You don't have any centralized system to manage those things. Getting my point? So it's your I mean, the security is high. Okay, and as every
but
nodes.
it consumes more electric power and it need many graphic cards. That's why I am asking,
Obviously,
sir.
obviously, it consumes extreme graphical GPU. It consumes a lot of power. Yeah, that is, I mean, what you can say, that are the challenges what we have, as we discussed. Getting my point? So yes, obviously, but in future, see, if we talk about 20 years back, okay, when we talk about home automation, okay, people used to think that, okay, IoT would be very costly. Okay, industry 4.0 will be very difficult to achieve. Why? Because extreme tech, I mean, they are heavily costing. Cloud technology, might charge us extremely high, but today we are able to afford it. Similar way, in future, blockchain might get affordable as well. As of today, for few crypto challenges, cryptocurrencies, a few wallets are usually making a profitable business. Okay, and yes, they are somewhat way in a profit way also. So obviously, at some or the other way, it will reach to such a level that, energy consumption cost will be lower and the value of those system will be higher. So the time needs, it'll be coming, will be, I mean, it is very near. It is not just 10-15 years. I would say maybe 1 year or 1.5 year it would reach, no doubt about it.
Okay, sir. Sir, why we use SHA-256 algorithm only, sir, to generate the 64 individual characters has?
Nothing, it's not like that. It depends. Okay, it is not like that you have to use that
What
thing.
are the other algorithms, sir?
We have MD5, we have SHA, we have desert, we have a lot of algorithms. Okay,
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
welcome.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I am Devi, Assistant Professor, SRM IST Ramapuram, sir, Chennai.
Namaskar, madam. Yes.
I had one doubt in the research point of view.
Okay.
Sir, already blockchain is security, a lot of security in blockchain. There is a no tamper. So in what way we have to do research point of view in blockchain? You have any idea? You give some idea, sir?
Yes, definitely. See, suppose, for example, you are an academician. Okay, any person who have here who are academicians or who are professors or students who are doing MTech or professors who are doing PhD or professors who are doing postdoc or professors who are guiding their students, PhD students or MTech students on blockchain, for example. Okay, everyone, for each and every one of you, when we set a research ground rule. Okay, I need you to understand. Suppose, for example, you take a topic, for example. Okay, suppose, madam, if you take a topic, for example, cryptocurrency assets management for specific coins. Okay, specific digital currencies. So if you put forward that thing, every digital currencies might have built on different types of blockchain environment. Okay, so you need to do whole literature review for that thing for past 3 months to 4 months. Okay, because I'm telling you, every day, if we talk about thousands of research have been generated. Okay. It might happen that whatever problem statement you have or you decided to solve, that problem statement research work every day, some other person is working on that. So you need to review all of that first. Okay. Generate the future prospects of it, future scope of it. Okay. Get out all the benefits or whatever the good thing is there in that paper. Okay. On that research. And then what you do is that you combine all good things at one place, combine all future scope at one place, and try to see, is there any drawback into any research work? If you find out the drawback into your problem statement, okay, these are 4 papers or 4 literature review where I'm seeing this drawback, you can generate a problem statement. And once you generate the problem statement, I would advise you that, later on things you already know. If you have a problem statement, then you generate the objectives to solve that problem statement, and solve one by one all the objectives, and make yourself more comfortable for doing this thing. As simple as that. So this is the way you should carry out the research work. That is point number 1. Point number 2, suppose, for example, your research involves applications of coding or deployment of your application to any blockchain network. At that stages, you need to understand how the blockchain work and how the coding and which type of coding environment supports your platform. Okay. And suppose you understand once how you are developing an application, you also need to understand that, how you can deploy that system. I mean, whatever you have made, you need to understand where to deploy. And suppose you understand how you have deployed also, you need to understand that how you can regulate and monitor those things. Okay. So this is the process which you need to follow actually specifically. I hope I have some way or the other answer your question, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question? Any questions can be asked.
So I have a question, sir.
Yes.
So do you think that at some point in future, supercomputers would be able to hack or crack this blockchain technology? Possibilities are there.
We never know. But I'll tell you one simple way. Okay. See, past 10 years. Okay, past 10 years. I mean, if you talk about just past 5 years or 6 years before, what people if you log in any password, okay, suppose, for example, there's a login, okay, and there is a password we need to put. Okay, so what we used to do, suppose, for example, very simple trick to hack any system is that test any random password. Okay, and you can make a loop in a Python or any language, and every time it would go test one password, again test one password, again test one password, or at certain time of time it will get cracked. Okay, iske liye simple solution kya nikala, you log in one time, okay, if it is not login, you log in second time, okay, you didn't log in, third time it will give you a delay of 2 seconds, fourth time it will give you a delay of 1 minute, fifth time it will give you a delay of 5 minutes. What will happen in that case? In that case, you will have a very less amount of permutation and combination to actually solve that dispute. Similar way, if we incorporate such type of logics on blockchain, if suppose if any supercomputer is actually wanted to hack by using this simple logic, now if you bring supercomputer also to crack the problem, it is impossible. Okay, so there are always what you can say solutions. Sometimes, like there are very easy solutions for some of the complex problem statement. So I would advise that supercomputer might have power to actually crack few of the encryptions what we do, but there would be a solution which will be built to avoid supercomputers for doing those things. Okay, so this is totally possible, and yes, that are part of our regulations. What if we incorporate any type of technology in our environment or our infrastructure. Okay, any other questions to anybody?
All right.
All right, perfect then.
Questions then.
Okay, I would like to take this session. I would like to propose vote of thanks now. So on behalf of the Department of Commerce, Universal Group of Institutions, I would like to thank you, sir, our eminent speaker, Mr. Krunal Ramesh Kalbande, for accepting our invitation, first of all, and gracing this session. So thank you so much. This was an excellent and very informative session. And my heartfelt thanks goes out to our chairman, Mr. Upendra Shetty, the principal of our institution, Mr. Vishwas Puttaswamy, administrator, Mr. Santosh Shetty, sir, and my special thanks to my colleagues, Kavya Shetty ma'am, Muniraj sir, who helped me conduct this program. And I also would like to thank the non-teaching and marketing team of the Universal Group of Institution. And finally, I would like to propose my thanks to the teaching fraternity of different colleges for all your active participation during the entire session. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you to all the participants, and thank you to Universal Group of Institutions as well as to all the management, all the faculties member from the Universal Group of Institution, as well as to all the faculty members from around India who have joined. Thank you to all of you guys, and we'll see you soon, another day, another place, somewhere other the place. Okay, so I wish you all the best. Stay safe and see you guys. Okay, thank you, Deepika madam, for coordinating it so wonderfully. Okay,
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Shall we disconnect, ma'am?
Yes, sir. We have provided the feedback link on the chat. You can use that link to leave your feedback. And yes, the session has come to an end.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
chat എങ്ങനെയാ എടുക്കുന്നത്?